Hey guys, we are currently live. I'm actually going to pull this up on my phone to make sure it's working. Well, I'm doing another one of these tonight at 8,
Okay.
and that one's streaming to Twitter, which it's not like this where you just have it where it comes up live. On
Right.
Twitter, it's just like a link. It's just like a regular
Oh,
post, which is weird.
that's
You
weird.
don't like feature it or anything. So I have to let's see. It says we're live. I don't see a video on here though.
On the so are you on
Oh,
the
there it is. Okay, there we go. I can just
Oh,
I put it on mute. Why can I still hear myself? Okay, so there we go. All right, so we will give it time for them to tell everybody that we are live.
so we are
And
on YouTube now,
yeah,
right?
we are live on YouTube,
Okay, I'm gonna go.
and then people can ask questions, and then I can pop it onto the screen, which
Oh,
I can
cool.
actually let's see, have a question, just ask, and have it featured. This is really nice because then I can just show it on here. So there, it's like, have a question, have it featured.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that nice? It's so nice.
Let's see. I saw I linked to it on my thing. I don't need to look. I don't need to look.
I
It
have
doesn't
I
matter.
have it running over here just in case I see what's going on. It's really nice though because on my phone just has a comment thing and then there we are, and
Oh, cool.
it's nice. It's nice and neat. You don't have
Yeah.
to go 80,000 different places.
I'm still figuring. So I have a few YouTube videos up, but they were we made my mom and I made them,
Mm-hmm.
and then now she's locked in her house, so I can't really see my parents because they're both over 70, and
Uh-huh.
my dad has some heart pre-existing conditions. So I'm having to figure. She has a really nice camera, so she did all the. She is really into art and stuff, so she set it up and lit
Oh,
it
okay.
really
So
well.
she's
And now I'm
she's like a hip mom, even
yeah,
though
oh
she's
totally,
older. She
yeah.
knows how to do all
So
the stuff.
yeah, so now
That's
I'm
nice.
oh, I want to make some more videos that are because my videos are all about being creative, like how to questions creative people ask themselves kind of a thing. And
Right.
I'm sure there are a ton of questions creative people are asking themselves now, and I could totally do it. But then I'm oh, but then I have to deal with the fact that they're not going to look nearly as good.
Right. Oh no. If you watch any of my old videos, I don't cut them or anything, where you'll have that jump in it. It's what you see is what you get. And that is as far as I go with
Oh,
it
I did
because
but I went in and made these little title cards in Canva because
uh-huh.
I had love all that. I had fun, but I'm oh, this is way more work.
It is way time consuming, which gives me a lot. I have a lot of what is the word? I don't know the word, but I have the other people that are booktubers and stuff that they do primarily nothing but YouTube, like Emma Books and Sasha Alsberg and all those people.
Yeah.
You guys, they are amazing because I would murder myself at that point because just trying to cut out just little bitty things where
Yeah.
I'm saying
Right.
and stuff. It's hard. It's so hard.
Well, and then you have the whole thing where I'm wow, for me, it's so I made these 3 videos, they're all really fun, but then I'm wait, I'm really still a writer. So I spent so much time on making them that I was well,
Right.
that's time I would have been spending writing. So it's just the
It's so
balancing
time
act.
consuming. It is so time consuming. It's it gets to the point okay, do I really want to do this? And if I really want to do this, how of a perfectionist am I going to be? Am I just going to throw it up there and just live with whatever's on there and be I'm sorry guys, but it's not going to be perfect because I got
Right.
writing to do,
Yeah.
and just live with
Well,
it.
so I did this first one that's
Mm-hmm.
what does a creative person look like? Which is a question
Right.
I asked myself. I think a lot of people ask themselves this, but I had asked myself that a lot. And then I'm watching it, and I was oh, I don't really like my lighting. And my mom's Emily, your whole message is anybody can be a creative person no matter what they look like. And I'm yeah, but could I whiten my teeth? Can we go
Oh
into
goodness.
post-production and whiten my
I
teeth?
always feel so frumpy doing these because it's like I just got home from work like an hour ago.
Yeah.
And it's like my hair's been up in a ponytail, like a bun all day. So I just took it down. Like my hair is not brushed. I wasn't
But
in the
here's the
bookstore.
thing, I feel like I hate this notion, and I mean, we'll talk about it with the book, but one of the things I really hate is this notion that, like, in order to have something interesting to say about books, we both
Mhm.
need to be, like, gorgeous, flawless.
Right? You have to have like a full face of makeup
It's like,
on, and your
no,
lighting has to be perfect, and you
exactly,
have
your
to have
lighting has,
amazing backgrounds
like,
and
you need a ring light to be, it's like, wait,
right,
I don't need a $300 ring light to talk about books, but it feels like that sometimes,
right.
so I'm like, I'm breaking.
Well, it's like I've got
My
one that
bad
I'm
video
sitting on my
quality is
bed.
a literary decision.
Right. I mean, you look nice. You look so nice. I'm like sitting on my bed. This is where my headboard is, which is like this little thing covered in a blanket. You know, I've got nothing fancy. My best show that I did was I think it was last week, and it was at 1 o'clock with Lori Forrest, the author of The Black Witch. And I ended up, and I got to do it at work. So I had this lovely book. I was in the YA section, so I had this lovely, like, gigantic thing of books behind me. I'm like, man, can I talk my boss into letting me do these at work all the
Like
time?
just at work all
Please,
the time? Because that's just
please,
part of my job.
yeah, please, can I please? Because that would be amazing because it always looks so nice in there because it's bright.
Right. Because it's a bookstore. It sounds very
Yeah.
bookish. But I
Yeah.
think it's totally fine. Like where I just love the idea of people talking about books on the internet. It just makes me
Right.
happy.
It's like everybody's on the internet now, so now the internet doesn't work.
That's like we were my kids were all like, we can't get off Netflix. Like we're trying.
Right? Well, I ended up grabbing both of my girls' iPads. I got lucky. I got so lucky since we've been customers of AT&T for years. They gave us like a $45 discount a month for a year and a half,
Wow.
which covered like the entire cost and then some of one of their iPads. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, we'll just go ahead and go grab a second one. I had to go all the way into Orlando to go find another iPad. And the guy waited for us. We were like there 30 minutes after they closed and they waited for us. And so I ended up having to add those to the account because they have data on them. And,
Right.
and I'm like, okay, I let their teachers know if they try and tell you that the internet is down and they can't do any work, that is bullcrap because I am paying to have connectivity
Right.
for that. They have internet. Don't try and let them pull wool over your eyes because it ain't happening. I covered that. So you can't say it. You that's not gonna fly.
Um, they
I
have
tried
data.
so hard not to like drop the two books that I was supposed to be reading the last couple of days and just like completely start this book again. I did. I was doing my review because I flaked on everything this weekend. I just sat down and I read 3 books
Oh,
cover to cover.
which ones do you read?
Oh, I was trying to redo the Black Witch Chronicles, so I did the Black Witch and then uh poof. Uh Wand Facet, Light Mage, and now I'm finally back into the Iron Flower, so I can do
Okay.
the next one that comes out in June called the Shadow Wand.
Okay.
And then I had the other author chat that's for tomorrow. I had her book, what is it, Late to the Party,
Okay.
to do. So I got done with Late to the Party because that was like a little bit over 200 pages, and I'm like, do I want to go back to Iron Flower? Or do I just want it? This book isn't all that long. I could
Read
finish this in a
Lifestyles again.
day. Could
It's
finish
a
that in a
fast
day.
read. It's a fast read.
It is, and it's so good. And Monday I was sitting down, no, Tuesday. I was sitting down Tuesday trying to do the massive hordes of promos that I'd been neglecting over the week. And I got to doing this to review, and I'm like, what am I going to say about this book? It's like must read, insane, crazy. I think I put all that in my
I
review.
think you did. I did. I went and
Yeah.
I don't normally read reviews. Like I normally kind of stay away from them, but I knew
Right.
from talking to you that, I mean, I'll read a review that's like, yeah.
Right.
They
And
get I sometimes struggle with them getting in my head. People say this all the time. I know some people, like, they totally can read their reviews. They don't get in
Right.
their head at all. For me, like, they mess with me a little bit, but one that's like, I loved it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can read
Like,
that.
those are great. I'll
That's
read
fine.
those.
I'll read those.
But it's
Or
like,
even like there were a couple where it was like with the trade reviews that were like good, good, good. I'm like, okay, if there's like 4 goods, I'm okay. I can take
right.
some constructive criticism.
But it's like you get to these reviews that it's a book you really loved, and then you completely blank because you're not sure what to say.
Right.
Because of course my reviews, I don't rehash anything because you have the book synopsis for that. So it's
Right.
just completely what I liked, what I didn't like, and why
Yeah.
everybody should read this. And I'm just like, crazy, insane. What else can I add in here?
It is so interesting because you think about, like, when I go to read reviews, I'll often actually read 1-star reviews if I'm
Mhm,
going to pick a book, because
mhm.
I often think the 1 stars give you a little more information, because you'll read and someone will be like, oh, this
Right,
book had a like prickly, difficult heroine, and I didn't
right.
like that. I'm like, oh, I love a prickly, difficult heroine.
Well, that's the whole
So
thing of that I've heard about with people that, these high-end book bloggers and stuff, you don't normally see them doing reviews and stuff of things that they didn't enjoy. So
yeah,
it's like, well, that's kind of like a one-sided conversation. That's why for my site, if you sent this book for review, it doesn't matter. If I liked it, I hated it, it was
right,
trash, it was amazing, I'm gonna write that review
right.
regardless. You
I
know?
feel like I give like Goodreads reviewers, like, because I'll follow people on Goodreads. I
Mhm.
have so much more respect for someone that will give a negative review. Now, the other side of that is I almost never will give a negative review on Goodreads, but I
Mhm.
feel like I'm in a really different position on, like, I before I was a published author, I was much more
Right.
likely to give it because I was just there as a reader. If I'm there
Mhm.
as an author, that seems,
You kinda need to have 2 accounts. One is your
yeah.
author account,
Like,
and then one is your, like, personal account.
right. Because I never like I feel like oftentimes if I'm 1-starring something, well, I
Mhm.
almost never will 1-star something because I'm a DNF. Like, I will not finish. If I am like
Oh,
50 pages in and I'm like, I just do not care. I just won't finish.
it's funny
Actually,
though.
I go to the end. I'll read the
Oh,
last
you'll read the end?
chapter.
Oh, okay. See,
Yeah.
I usually give books anywhere from 50 to 100 pages.
Mhm.
By somewhere in that point, if I didn't care if they fell off a cliff or got blown up or murdered or something, it's time to put it away. I'm done. Because, I mean,
Life is short.
lately I've been trying to get through a couple of totes of books that I
Mhm.
hadn't been able to do because I had gotten sick and then our internet died and all this hoopla happened. And like there's some of these books and you'll read like the first 2 or 3 chapters and you're just like, why do I care?
Yeah, why do I care?
Why do
Well,
I
I
care?
also think middles are really hard. Like, they're hard to write. I
Mhm.
think they're often hard to read. So oftentimes, even on a book I loved,
Mhm.
I'll get stalled in the middle. And I'll
Mhm.
always, if it's a book I'm like, I really like these characters. I mean, you can think of a lot of like huge books in YA where in the middle I kind of
I did that with The Darkest Minds.
I did that with the Wicked, the Holly Black,
Oh, The Wicked
the
Prince.
Wicked Prince. I was like, I care a little, but mostly I just want to know what happens. So I read it. I really liked it. I thought a lot about it was really beautiful. I just skipped to the end and then I went back and read. Like, if I stall out, I'll skip to the end and then
Mhm.
move. Like,
And you
I'll
just
read
mean
out
like
of order.
physical book twos or just like the middle of a book, of a
The
story?
middle of a book.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it'd be like
Just
a
like,
book 1, book 4, whatever. It's just the actual
no,
story.
no, it's like so you think about when you're reading a story, you have all the
Mhm.
first setup where you meet all the
Right.
characters, and then you have the whole part where they go to if it's a
Wherever.
portal fantasy, they're gonna go to the magical world.
Right.
If it's a rom-com, they're gonna meet the dude,
Right.
that stuff happens. And then you get to the middle part where like all the stuff happens,
Mhm.
and then we like had a
Like time going by.
miscommunication and they blah,
Right.
blah, blah, and we just get to the end. That's hard.
Oh, goodness.
If you could just watch a book the way you watch, like I do that on shows too, though. So I'm just,
Uh, it happens.
but I have so much respect for a book where
Right.
it holds you the whole time. Because
Oh,
now
yeah.
having a written one, like, it's really hard.
Like this one.
It's gripping.
I don't know
So
whose
do you want to
authors of
ask?
that book.
Oh no. Did you want to ask? Like, do we want to? Are we gonna do some of the same questions that we covered on the?
I don't even remember the questions. I've got my phone. Oh, I was like, wait, where's my phone? Oh no. I don't think I really asked you a lot of questions last time. I just basically sat here and we yammered for an hour, and Instagram kicked us off
They
about how
did. Instagram
amazing
gets
your
us.
book was because I loved it, and it's gonna win, and it's going to win. So far, it has got the number one top of the best book that I read in 2020
Which
because
we are like a solid third of the way through 2020. So I'm gonna carry that.
because it is awesome and I
Winner of the
love it.
first third of 2020. Well, it was
So,
certainly.
of all the things and different myths that you could have chosen, why Greek mythology?
I loved it as a kid. I was that kid that just like loved the other thing that I really love about Greek mythology is the way that like it just keeps getting reinterpreted. You know, like you have all those paintings from you have statues from ancient times, and then you have all the paintings from like the 1900s, and then you have um, you know, Percy Jackson. Like I love how those stories just keep getting retold. So I really thought it was fun to kind of it was like getting to a party that you've always wanted to go to get to tell it. So
Alrighty. I'm gonna post this. Why I know I keep noticing that you have two different Instagram accounts.
it's a stupid reason. And the Emily Roberson Writes is now a dead site. It's before I was published. I had these poems, like these older poems that I wanted to put up, and they were old. They were from a long time ago, and they were like they would be weird on your regular Instagram, like people being like, "Hey Emily, are you okay?" Just like poems from different times in your life or whatever. And so I was like, so I feel like I should do this other Instagram because my Instagram is weird. It's like a mix because I was on Instagram before I was a writer. So I'm like on there both as a writer and as a human. And so it's like
hard.
It's like a mix of like people who know me in real life. And like there used to be a lot of stuff on my kids. There's a little bit of my kids now, but it used to be like more of that. Anyway, so I thought, well, I'll do the Emily Roberson Writes, and that's where I'll do the writer stuff. But it just didn't really work. And nobody really liked the poems. Like they didn't do anything. And then I was like double posting, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
It's hard. I know that. Okay, I keep forgetting which way this stupid camera has to go. That I had because I had my own under Rise of the Reader, and then when I got a job, it was like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for two accounts. So I just posted on it. It's like, you know what, guys? I'm going over to the side account. I'm only posting there. Everything's going to be there over there. Follow me over there. This is being deleted May 1st because I'm done.
I don't want to delete Emily Roberson Writes because I don't really want to, like, it's got my name on it. So it seems... So it just has a little note on it now that's like...
Yeah, I saw that.
Go to the...
Because when I went to tag you in the things for the first one, I'm like...
Oh, it was stupid. Don't do that. Anybody who's thinking about having two Instagrams, don't do that.
Right, yeah, just don't.
It seemed, I mean, somebody, I did ask people and they were like, oh, it'll totally work. I struggle with, I feel like Instagram on its own, like I really love it, but I find it like complicated to figure out even what to put up there because like I feel like there's only so many pictures I want to put up of my face. And then it's like, well, when I first started, my Instagram was all just pictures of the coffee shop that I normally write at. And then we have a family friend who called and was like, if I see one more picture of your coffee, I'm gonna shout at you. And I was like, fine. So, and then it was really fun when I was on book tour because then I could put up pictures from all the fun places I got to go.
Right.
But then my life just I mean, quarantine. I don't even know what people are doing in quarantine, but even before quarantine, my life just like I got back from all my travels in December and I was just like, I'm kind of back
So I was
to,
like, hey, at least your book came out before all this stuff happened. So you could actually go out places.
oh my gosh. I feel so like my heart for those people. Like somebody just posted on Twitter, like their dress for their launch party just came.
Oh,
And I was just
yeah,
like,
I heard that.
oh, I mean, because it was like, I have to say, the whole process was a total highlight of my whole life. Like, I'm going to be like 80 and I'll be like, I got to go to New York. So I hope everybody,
I
oh,
haven't actually I have not gotten to go to New York yet. I've been to BEA and BookCon
oh, that's fun.
when they were in Chicago,
Right.
and then I went to ALA the year before last, and that was in New Orleans. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. What I did not get to do was I went to the Louisiana Book Festival, which was really fun. And then like there were several things I was supposed to get to do this spring and they've all been canceled.
Been canceled out.
Or actually the Arkansas Literary Festival has been rescheduled for October, but a bunch of other things have just sort of been.
I know, yeah, because I was trying to get to ALA again this year.
Yeah.
It was going back to Chicago, so I'm like, okay, well, I can just stay in the Red Roof Inn that was halfway
Exactly.
decent. That's like 15 minutes away from Anderson Bookshop,
Yeah.
and just drive back and forth. I know where I'm going. We'll be
Right.
fine. And of course, then it was like postponed, and then it just got canceled. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess so much for that.
Are you going to do any of the like the Y'all Fest virtual events this weekend? I haven't.
Oh, is it this weekend?
It's this weekend. I haven't registered. I mean, hopefully they're not full. I just need to
You have to register?
Yeah, I think just to get the Zoom links or anyway, I haven't done that yet. I'm going to.
Is Y'all Fest?
Y'all Fest, it's normally in Santa Monica.
Okay.
It's like one of those.
Now I'm gonna go look.
It's gonna be awesome. It's like Nicola Yoon and anyway, a whole bunch of really awesome people.
Let's see. I see a thing for November 13th and 14th. Oh, April 20th. I can't read at all, apparently. Reading apparently doesn't come natural. See, I need like a big old button that says sign up here.
They have I think you have to sign up for the individual panels. So just
okay.
just
So I just scroll through the authors.
Just scroll through the.
Let's see if I click on this. Let's see. That just takes me to their website. Click on the book. And no click on the book. Okay. I don't know.
Anyway, but it's very cool. There's lots of really awesome stuff.
Holy crap. There's like a ton of authors on there.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
So anyway, I'm hoping I need to just do it. It's hard with everybody in the house.
It's hard to do anything in the house with everybody home. I mean, but I feel, oh, here we go. Hi, I found the registration. I found it.
Yay!
Woo! So yes, you can still register.
I just feel like my people are like, wait, you were working all week and now you're working on the weekend. And I'm like, oh yeah. So whereas if I was like gone, they would just have to figure it out.
I work Tuesday through Friday. It's like I keep telling people because it's like it feels weird because I mean, other than not going places on like Sunday, because we have passes for Universal and Disney this year, I got very lucky. Instead of other than not going there, my life really hasn't changed all that much.
Is your store open? Are they like, can people come in or
no, nobody can come in. The bookstore is strictly open for deliveries, which they're doing deliveries curbside where you have to call in.
Right.
And then they actually start adding everything to an Amazon store. So you can buy stuff directly from Amazon and then we'll ship it out.
Right.
You'll get it a lot faster than if you were actually ordering it from like Prime on Amazon because we're actually the ones shipping it out. And then I've also started doing this gently used book promotion thing where it's kind of like a blind date with a book. You get
Right.
a padded mailer. You tell me what age group and what genre you want. I shove it full of books and send it on its way, and you get it in like 2 to 3 days.
That's awesome. Our local indie is doing curbside and online, and they're doing delivery, and they're doing like a date, like you can make an appointment to browse, like with like one staff member.
One person.
If you call in advance, and it's like one staff member and like 1 or 2 people can go in, and I don't know if people are doing it, but they're offering that.
It's like, okay, you get hosed off with Lysol at the door.
Spray you off, put a mask on.
Right, put a mask on, gloves, don't cough on anything.
And then check out your books. So, but we've done, for the kids, because they're reading a lot, we've done curbside, just go pick it up. So.
Right. At least, because places like Books A Million and stuff, they have online.
Right.
You know, all the time. They don't technically need curbside. But these little baby indie stores and stuff, like the used bookstore that I'm working for, they just switched hands like 2 months ago.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, this was like a great time for this to happen when they had just taken over.
Right.
But it kind of it's working out because we have scanners in this iPad, and we're going through and scanning all the books so we can scan and creating an inventory.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, so then we'll be able to have more stuff like online and stuff as well as offline, which will definitely help out. So I lost the page that I had. Okay, so we're just going to wing it. All right. Okay. So still don't understand why your publisher choose to put that orange lettering under this. I don't know why it bugs me so much. It bugs me so much. I'm like, I'm just going to paint over it with some glue.
You get a glitter pen.
Oh, that would work. See, I was going to go all out. I was going to do, I found a thing online where you can actually put glue on all this and do like the metallic leaf.
Oh, that's cool.
So I could do like this bright neon pink for the edges. And then go back over that in pink.
You totally could. I feel like I love the neon. They were asking me like when they were like I think you'd asked me about the cover, and it wasn't like I didn't have the idea. I didn't like nothing like that, but they just asked me like what did I like? And I was like, well, I feel like for the book either something like neon-y pink or gilded. Like I would have been totally happy too if they'd had like gold on it. Because I think gold would have really like also done with the book. Because there's so much like the book is very like there's a lot of gold in there.
I don't know about the gold. I would understand, but I think the pink makes it feel more along the lines of what the book is. With like reality TV and stuff. Yeah, it's very flashy.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like, I wonder, like, did they have to get permission to put this phone on here? Because you could tell that looks like an iPhone.
I don't know.
It's like things about, you don't know because you wonder, like, okay, what kind of, rights and stuff do you actually have to deal with for certain things that like, you can tell that what kind of cell phone that is?
I think, like, if it had the Apple on it, they would have to, but I'm not sure about the...
It's an older generation iPhone. They don't even...
Yeah.
Do they sell iPhones with buttons anymore?
I don't know.
I give her credit. It's in a case. I do give them credit. It's in a case.
Well, it's funny too, because you realize like, oh, I'm sure like when they were designing it, you're kind of like, oh, she could have an iPad or she could have a little phone, or like if it was like 10 years ago, she'd have a flip phone.
I could have solved that with a flip phone. I understand probably why they did this particular kind of phone because it's recognizable. Nobody's going to look at that and wonder like, what is that? Oh, it's
right. A phone. It's a phone.
Yeah. You're going to know sight unseen. You are going to know that that's a phone.
Right. And I guess if you had like this, like you don't necessarily know what it is.
Right. Because it doesn't have the button on it.
Right.
Yeah.
My sister still has that phone, the one with the button on it.
The button. I had an iPhone X, like the first X at the beginning of the year. And then I got the notice, oh, your battery has been significantly degraded. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I called Best Buy because they're the Apple authorized dealer. My phone was
Right.
still under warranty for like 4 days. I got
Mhm.
lucky. Oh, it's gonna be like a 3 days to a week before you get your phone back. And I'm just like, no.
No.
No, no, no. So I upgraded and got the 11 Pro Max. I went
Oh, so that's
all out.
see here when we were debating what phone for me to get, because I had like a 6S forever and ever and
Mhm.
ever. And then when we were deciding what to get for the next one, I was like, you know, I need the better camera. And I was
Right.
like, on the one hand, it's kind of silly. I need the better camera. But when you get back around to like what we were talking about, like if I'm going to be posting stuff on Instagram, I
Yep.
do
You want
actually
the nicer
need a
camera.
better quality. Well, it's the better quality selfie camera.
Right.
It's like I do actually like, I do need it. I heard somebody, I have this ancient computer. Like my computer is really, really old. And it's a MacBook, but it's really old. And somebody was saying that the new ones, the webcam is not that great on the new Macs. And I was like, okay, I'm
Oh
just going to
no.
hold on to this one forever. Like, I don't want to have to, you know how
What
you
year
can get
what year is your laptop?
like, like 2010, 2011, like it
That's
is
what mine is.
old.
This is the 11-inch
Yeah.
MacBook Air from 2011, and then over here I've got just like ignore all the mess.
Yeah.
That is a 2010 27-inch desktop from
Right.
Apple, and it still works. That's got
Yeah.
iTunes on it.
I have that. And I actually got the MacBook Pro
Mhm.
maybe 2010. I was doing, I used to work, like I worked in marketing for engineering firms
Oh
for a long
wow.
time, and I was doing part-time work. And so I needed to be able to run the whole Adobe suite. So I
Uh-huh.
needed like, and that was
Like
back before it was
everything.
like the online thing. It was like it needed to
Right.
all be loaded on there. So I needed
Oh, okay.
enough
You had a lot of
capacity to have
space
it
for
like
everything else.
do
Right.
the whole thing.
That
So
thing's got a terabyte of space and I don't use any of it. Well, my iPhone is
I was
too
do the video,
big.
but the videos I'm finding take up so much space.
Right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. Like, my, my iTunes alerted me the beginning of last year that, "Oh, well, you have almost used all your space," and I'm like, "It's a 3 terabyte hard drive." So I got a 10 terabyte hard drive, and it took it 3 days, morning and night, to transfer everything over,
Yeah.
and
And
I'm
then
like, "This is insane."
I mean,
It's
those
movies, it's
videos,
all movies.
yeah. Well, the videos I made with my mom, like
Mhm.
I was just telling you about that, put them on YouTube. I was like, I was like, all of a sudden, my whole hard drive is like, my computer's going like, like, like
Oh,
it's gonna take off
no.
the counter. I was like, oh, I have to. So I ended up getting one of those little like a extra
That's
drive,
yeah. Yeah, that's what
little,
my an external hard drive, yeah, that's what all
yeah,
my iTunes is on.
just scooch everything over there
Pretty
because,
much.
well, then I hate it though because I'm trying to figure out the promoting, so then
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, well, I need to get a clip of that video. And then I was like, oh, well, I have to plug the thing back in. And it's not that big a deal. It's
No,
small
it's
things.
like it's just one more step that you have to do, though.
Right.
But,
Well, it's funny too, because the weird thing about like we were talking about, the weird thing about being an author is it's like half of it is like go into imagination brain and just make stuff up.
right.
And half of it is like figure out how to use the iMovie.
So, like, do you have to do a lot of promotion on your own because I mean, you were published with I feel so stupid because I was looking up FSG,
Yeah.
on because I normally try and tag all the publications, and I'm looking inside of this, and for the life of me, for some reason, I saw the Far Strauss and stuff, but the fiercereads.com never jumped out at me. I'm like, "Oh my goodness," because it just did.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have to do a lot of promotion on your own, or do they do, like, in the majority of it?
It's a mix. It's like there's a lot, there's a lot that they do and then there's a lot for you to do. And it's sort of like they give you a bunch of guidance about like what like I got, all of the publicity stuff, like as far as like contacting like the blogger outreach, I didn't have to do any of that. The magazine, you know, reaching out to magazines and stuff like that, I didn't have to do that. And in fact, it's like really hard to do that as an author because you don't know the right people to call or the right way to,
yeah, because it's like a specific section and
yeah. And there's like, and they, you know, they're so inundated. It's like they need to, like know reputable sources. Like they're dealing, like the fair trades people are like who they're used to dealing with. But then when it comes to like making graphics and stuff like that, they make some and I make some. So it's like some of both.
So then, like, what if you wanted like bookmarks to ship out to people and stuff? Can you contact your publisher to make them, or are you on your own?
It depends. Like I sent book plates out and those came from the publisher because they're Fierce Reads ones.
Okay.
But a bookmark for lifestyles, I ordered those.
Okay.
So it's like and it depends too. Like if you're Sarah J. Maas, you don't have to make your own bookmarks.
Right.
but it's like
if you're the queen, you don't have to do nothing.
Right. Well, and I can't guarantee that because I think that they do. There's a lot that they do. Like if you see an author on Instagram Live, like probably they did that themselves, you know, not universally, but probably they at least like are organizing that themselves.
I don't remember. Did I contact you directly or did I go through your editor to come on?
I think you contacted me and then I sent you to the publicist and then she circled around. So, which is that's also so great. Like if somebody reaches out and says, hey, you know, I'd love to have a copy of your book. Like I can go, you know, to the publisher and be like,
no. You just be like, go contact us.
Well, and it's not even like, no, it's like, I don't have, like, if people want to read like like when, before the book was out, when people were reading like for NetGalley, I can't even do that. Like, that's not my.
Yeah, you don't have anything in the matter on who they approve and deny and all that stuff.
Right. So that has all been just amazing. Like, just like being able to be like, so.
Well, when I did my review for this and I was looking on Idlewise and NetGalley, I actually had this from Idlewise. Oh my goodness. So I just like clicked everything 10 and then put it like best of, I think it says Libby or something.
Yeah.
Best of Idlewise and just tossed everything on best. It was like, send to publisher. Done.
And then, but then like if you see me do a giveaway, like oftentimes that's me. But anything that's Goodreads, that's the publisher. So that's kind of like a mixed bag. Like I'm going to do some giveaways next week, I think, or starting next week and going the week, like the few weeks after. Like, well, two things. I'm going to give away copies of Lifestyles, and then I'm also going to give away. I have like a lot of books, and so I'm going to do like a thing, you know, where it's like give away a book I love that maybe doesn't need to live in our house anymore. So,
another author, Lori Stoltz, did a thing where that if you go on to wherever you want to go for the book and you buy her newest book, I think it's Jane Anonymous, then you send proof to her via the email, then she would send you a book that she had.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I actually what did I end up with? I was so scared because I got this book and the whole entire back of it and the whole side looked like somebody had poured like a milkshake or something on it. And I was like, this book is dead. It is dead. I opened it, was perfectly fine. And it was funny because it was one that I'd actually been looking at the store. So
yeah. So I've seen that at the store. Adorable. It's so cute.
It's adorable. And I'm like, well, you know, that works. But that might be something that you want to do because then it gives you, you know, more sales and then you know, they get 2 books for the price of 1.
Right. So yeah, and so that I would say that the whole process has been really neat. And they had so many, you know, because publishers publish books, they had so many great like tips and insights just even about how to be online. Because just like we were saying before, like the way you are on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere as a person who isn't a writer is different from how you would be
Right.
as a writer, because like I know some people are really good at Facebook as writers, and I'm less so because I'm not on Facebook that much anyway, but it's like my grandma's on Facebook. So I'm like, my grandma, like, she wants a few pictures from events and stuff, but she doesn't want me to go on there and be like, so here, what are your questions about lifestyles of gods and monsters?
Well, see, that's why you have a Facebook page for
Page,
that
yes.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
do have a Facebook
Yeah.
page. I don't totally have that one. That one's still like,
Well, you can actually you can what is it called? You can go on to Instagram and state that this is your Facebook page, and that anything you post on Instagram will automatically post on your Facebook page.
on your Facebook author page. Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot less hassle, because if I had to actually go on and repost everything twice,
Right.
yeah, it's not
you just
enough that I
wouldn't-
have to go and post it on Instagram, because Instagram wants to like cut it out or not send the picture with it when
Right.
you auto post there from Instagram, and I'm like, no, you will put my picture on that post.
I took the picture. I made the
There's my
picture.
picture.
So yeah, so as I was saying earlier, like I worked in marketing for engineering firms before I was
Mhm.
writing full time, and I like all that stuff. Like I think it's fun. Just like
Marketing is fun. It's fun. I love making all the banners and buttons.
making the banners, seeing
all
what
that.
works. Like I love like I really like I tried it this way, did that
Mhm.
work? And then I tried it this way and did that work? Like that kind of thing. I just enjoy it. So
It's
and
fun.
I love Canva. Like I love messing around in Canva.
See, I can't get Canva to work to save my life.
Oh, I love
All the things, like the thing that I sent up for this, that is an application called Wordle.
Oh, somebody I knew did that. I do Canva
Yeah.
desktop, not on mobile.
See, I have it. I do all the mobile stuff because
Mhm.
I'm usually on my phone,
Right.
going places. And the Typorama, those things are amazing. I love them. They make such good stuff.
Yeah. I think there's so many things annoying about our world, but I think there's not been a better time to be an independent creative person.
Right.
Because if you think about like what I was telling you when I had to do graphics in 2010, I had to have this, really expensive computer with all this processing power just to be able to do the most basic stuff. I mean, it was just like, how do you set a picture inside of just the stuff you did like for promoting this? It would take It took such a long time. You had to know Photoshop. You had to know, and now you can just be like, "Oh, I want to make a banner."
It took me like less than a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I totally love that. Or like
now,
like where you want to put in, you want to be like, "Oh, I want to put like a filter on this picture."
Right.
It's like, oh, you can totally do it. Right. So.
I mean, you want a book that's not just a picture, and you wanted it to look like a book. You go grab the cover from Goodreads or something, and put it in the DIY book design.
Oh, I love that thing.
Into a 3D cover.
Yeah, and then you've got or you can make it look like the ebook cover.
Yeah, and the ebook cover, or you can do all three.
Right.
And the only one I haven't figured out how to do on those is the ones that requires like a copy of the spine. You can't really look up the spine of a book, Right.
Although sometimes the Amazon thing will have it, but yes.
Oh, will? I've never seen that on there.
Well, it's normally like a reader.
Okay.
Like a reader took the picture. Right. So I don't know if it would work.
Right. Because like that's like the only thing that I haven't gotten to work. But
it
works really well. And it's simple.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to like toss this back into my tote of TBR and pretend like, no, I haven't read this yet. I gotta read this book. I haven't read it yet. And because this book is so good.
So good. It's so funny because I did a meeting with I was supposed to go do this full day at a college here, and it got canceled because of course, Corona. And so instead I did like a call in with the students, and it was so great because they were like, what happens with these people? What happens with that people?
Well, that's our thing is that, you get so addicted to a book. And then when it ends, you're like, well, wait, because, like we need to jump out like 10 years or something. What's going on with these people? Are her sisters okay? Is Icarus still alive? What's going on with her dad? Because he said he was going to send people for her. What is going on? You cannot leave us hanging like that.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh, let's see. I did not really. You think about when you write, like, I have said this before, but I had so much fun writing this book. Like, I had so much fun writing this book. And so having other people read it and then be like, what happened? I mean, in a way, writing this book felt a little bit like writing fan fiction because the characters are sort of pre-existing, just in the universe. And so it had that really joyful feeling of like I was playing while I was writing. It was just like, well, what if you do this and what if you do that? And so having people be like, it's so great because I'm like, I don't know. We'd have to write another book to find out.
Right. It's like, and we need another book because now it's like, you want to know what's going on with everybody else, and this is becoming king.
Right.
And I'm probably butchering everybody's names.
Oh, it's okay. I don't know how to say their names.
Theseus, right? Or
I say Theseus.
Theseus. Okay.
Well, I really don't know.
And I'm reading the Iron Flower now, and I keep posting like little banners and stuff that I made with quotes, and I keep trying to give this girl 2 E's in her name, and there's only one. And I'm just I'm waiting for the author to like yell at me or one of the fans yell at me like, that's not how you spell that. And I'm like, I know.
I have that with I do not know how to say the older sister's name, the one that starts with an X. Like, I don't know how to say it.
Ask Surrey.
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't listened. Macmillan did an audiobook, like Fierce Reads did an audiobook, and I haven't listened to it yet. Like, I want to because the narrator is the one who did Victoria Aveyard's books, and she's incredible. So I would love to listen to it. But then that feels a little weird to listen to something I wrote. But I'm desperate to hear how she says those names because they reached out to like a professor about how you're supposed to say them. So however they say them in the audiobook is correct.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I just looked it up because now I'm curious. Okay, so let's see. How do you pronounce this name? Oh, it has audio on here. Okay, so
let's hear.
We're gonna turn this up. Okay. Hopefully nobody tries to call me. Yeah. No, I don't want to get a free name card. Okay. I think it died. I don't hear anything. Oh, it says record the pronunciation of this word in your own voice and play it to listen how to have it pronounced. Why do I want to do that?
No, we don't know. Okay, so it's either like Zenidus or Zenadike or I just don't know.
That's weird.
I just call her X in my head.
I think I was actually almost calling her Xena or something.
Yeah.
With the X.
Yeah.
This is like a whole bunch of different pronunciations.
Oh, interesting.
That's weird.
We have to find someone who speaks Greek. Anybody out there who speaks Greek?
None of these files want to play. They're not being nice to me. That's the only bad thing with your book came up.
Oh, that's probably like the only time she's in the Wikipedia entry, but that's probably like the only time she's ever been a character in anything.
Too bad you can't just like type it in.
Right, and hear it.
To like Surrey or something.
Yeah.
They're just gonna make it Why did they make it so complicated? Okay, well, this says it's pronounced Z-E.
Okay.
And then no. And then dice.
Dice. So Xenodice.
Xenodice.
Which doesn't sound nearly as nice.
And then they also have the other one of Zenodice.
Zenodice.
So.
Yeah, I think Xena would be great. But then I keep thinking of the Warrior Princess from the old TV show.
Right. I think that's probably why I was doing it because it does. It's like a Xenodice. Because you do either way.
Right.
Those names.
Yeah. Megan. It's Megan kind of name.
Right. Which just makes it more complicated because then like my 15-year-old, her name is Endarin,
Uh-huh.
but the way it's spelled, it's spelled Endarine. So
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
look, see, you have a choice. If you decide one day and you don't want to be called Endarin anymore, you don't have to be.
You can just
You
switch it up.
go whatever. Your author photo looks gorgeous, by the way.
I love the picture.
I didn't even look at the back of this.
There's a funny story with the author photo, which is that when I got married,
You don't even
so
look like the same person,
yeah, it's like they did my hair.
right?
So when I got married, I did not get like hair and makeup done. I just kind of was like went with what I could do myself.
Mm-hmm.
And always after, and I'm from Arkansas, which is definitely a southern state, and that was not the norm. Like most people got hair and makeup done.
Right.
And everybody was like, "Are you sure you don't want to get hair and makeup done?" I was like, "I am fine. I'm gonna save that money. I'm gonna like just do it myself. It'll be fine." And then I was like, they came and I was like, I hate these pictures.
Oh no.
And so when the book sold, I was like, by God, I am getting good pictures made. So I went and got my hair done. Because I
Oh,
can't,
so
it's
the
really,
publisher
see, it's
didn't do
really,
that?
no, the publishers don't do those.
Okay.
Everybody's author picture they did themselves.
Oh, I
So
didn't
you
know
see,
that.
like my hair is really curly. It's curly naturally.
Okay.
So I got them to blow it straight, and somebody put makeup. I was like, I am gonna have in that picture. That's gonna be my picture forever. I'm gonna be like a 70-year-old lady and be like, she doesn't really look like that anymore. Nope, nope. But however, I did read somewhere where they really recommended that authors get new pictures every 10 years or so,
Right.
because I don't know if you've ever had that thing where you meet them in real life and you're like, oh, you are far older than I thought you
Yeah,
were.
I'm the
So
person that's face blind. A couple years ago, I had gone to an event, and I have like because they had all the photos on the event thing. So
yeah.
I'm like incognito over in the YA section, looking at this thing, and then just kind of. And one lady, oh my goodness, one lady looked so much like one of the people that I was waiting to get a book signed to, because I'm always early. I like to
Yeah.
be way early, and so I just kind of, she's browsing the YA section, looking at the book that I think that she wrote. So I just go up and ask her, and she's like, "No, no, I'm actually here just for the signing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay,
Sorry.
sorry, I'm just gonna go this way."
Right. I'll
I think I freaked her out just a
just a little bit. Well, I always think it's interesting, like when you see authors in, like I went last year to the North Texas Teen Book Festival, not as a just it was before the book was out. I just went like to sort of see a book festival. It's not that far from here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super fun. Like I had a ball, but it was so weird to be like, oh, that's Stephanie Garber. And she's like right there. It's like, I find that really wild where I'm like, oh, that's which I kind of thought like once I became an author, I would feel like,
Right.
oh, I'm an author, they're an author. But it turns out you're still just like,
No,
hi.
like nothing is cooler than going to a book event. I think this was, I don't remember which one this was. Oh no, it was BEA or BookCon, because those were like back to back when I
Right.
went to Chicago, and I was just like circling around the different things, and Tahar Mafi walks by, and I was talking to one of my kids because we were doing another book blogger that I had was with me at the time, and she had never met her. So I wanted to grab a photo of her
Right.
so I could like crop it out and like add her to it.
Right.
And I was like, hey, could I take a picture of you really quick? And she's like, sure, Jessica. And I'm just like, I met her a few times before that, because GeekyCon used to be down here.
Right.
So I've met like Holly Black and Tahar Mafi and Ransom Riggs, and
Yeah.
I think Marie Lou was there one year. Leigh Bardugo.
Yeah.
Veronica Roth was here.
Wow.
She had like a T-shirt on with a one-eyed hamburger. It was amazing. She is so nice, and it's like you just kind of like have a stroke take it like that photo did not come out at all. It was
Because you're
so
like,
blurry. But like it just does not, to this day, like even I've been at this for 10 years, and it just, whenever an author like recognizes you sight on scene, it's
yeah,
just amazing. I got to
it's,
meet another Emily, actually, Emily King,
oh,
who wrote
yeah,
the
yeah,
100
yeah, yeah.
Queen series. Have you read that?
Yeah. No, not yet. I've got the, yeah.
So
My TBR is so tall. Like one of the most
good. Wow.
fun things about the this year was meeting all the other people who had books who came out this year,
Mhm.
and like or actually last year, 2019. And like I met all these people and they're fabulous and their books are so great. And then you're like, I did events with a few people and then I'm
Oh,
meeting people. And then it's like, well, then you definitely have to read the book if you're doing an event with someone. And then just on and on. And you get to the point where you're like, wow, I have so many books to read
I have
and
11.
so much less time to read them than I used to.
I have 11 totes of books to read that I haven't gotten to.
Yeah.
Like, do you just get like mail out the buku of ARCs and stuff, and people sending you books?
So at the like headed into like last year, yeah, it was
Mhm.
like, or like all fall, it was like stacks and stacks and stacks and
You're
stacks
an
and
author.
stacks.
Read this.
Yeah, and then you're just like, oh my gosh. So anyway, but I feel like I just have to get a handle on it. So
Right.
because I get like so overwhelmed that then I'm like not reading anything. I'm like only like reading like magazines or something. I'm like, no, I actually really need to read books.
Right.
I totally understand why there were several authors that I reached out to, because the blurbing process
Mm-hmm.
you do as an author.
Oh, you
Like
have to do that?
mostly they
Oh, goodness.
recommend that the author actually be the one who reaches out, because
Oh,
which is so strange.
I would be, because I talk to authors all the time. I would be so nervous.
Oh, it's totally nerve-wracking,
Because
because
it's
a
like,
bunch of people, like, you
oh,
get to a certain level and people don't do it anymore because
right.
they're like, so then you're like, oh,
Because it's like you want like the best authors out there, because I mean I got
right.
just because it had a blurb on it from Diana Gabaldon, or
Yeah,
however,
yeah, yeah, totally.
of Outlander. And it's
Yes.
like, so you grab it. So it's like you want like the best authors out
Oh,
there,
totally.
which then they
And
probably have millions of them.
and I love, like, I got some really and some of my blurbs I did not reach out for. That was like my agent did, or
Oh,
different
no
people did.
blurbs on it.
No, they didn't put any blurbs on the hardback. They'll be
They're
probably on the
blurbless.
paperback. I'm blurbless. Um, but it was like the process was so nerve-wracking. And then you'd hear people say, they're like, well, I don't
Blue.
yeah, just well, mostly I did people that I'd like either met at North Texas Teen Book Festival or had
At least had a
talked
conversation with.
to or something. But then still like a huge number of people don't, like, you get to a certain level and they'll only do it very selectively. So they'll just say like, oh, I don't really do that. And I'm like, well, okay. Please. Please.
Oh, that
Oh, it was so nerve-wracking. That part, there's a few parts of it where I have found them like really difficult. And that was definitely one of the most
so have you
difficult
been
by
asked
far.
for somebody else?
Nobody has asked me to blurb. So I'm like, okay. So I keep waiting. I'm like, somebody's going to say like, hey, could you blurb my book? I guess if there's another mythological book.
Right, like something that's historical, mythological type thing. That, I guess that kind of makes sense, that you would want somebody to blurb your book that did a book kind of like yours.
Well, you think about it, like there are books that I love and like would highly recommend, where you could say like, how much overlap is there with the people that would want to read my book? And
Right.
sometimes yes, sometimes no, and I think sometimes it's hard to know, because I think there are some books that are contemporary that actually would be comparable to mine
Right.
based on themes.
But you wouldn't want somebody that's doing like a science fiction book to blurb your book, because it's like
Right, because I
completely
think that might, just
different.
confuse things.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm so curious about like the next, because like this is my debut, and then it's like, well, what happens next? I
Right.
don't
Because you
know.
came out what, in September?
October.
October. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're what?
6 months out, 7 months out.
6 months out.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like I'm I'm working on various different projects, but I have no idea what happens next. So
book 2, that's what happened.
book 2.
Book 2.
So that has been, I feel like I didn't get a 2-book deal. Like I didn't do a 2-book deal. And so that I feel like watching different people who have either like a sequel that's due really soon or it's been super interesting because I think there are real pluses and minuses to all the different ways of, how publishing works. Like,
so if you had free reign and you do what you want,
yeah,
would you just do a duology or would you do like a whole fledgling series? Because I mean,
I
loved,
I
like,
love this world. Like I could totally
you could just start on like,
I could totally see like just pick a different myth, like a universe. Like I would totally, like if you told me tomorrow, if you're like, hey Emily, would you like to do a universe and there's like comics and tie-ins, and I'd be like, yes,
I want to see what you could do with like, I could see like Persephone or something,
right? Like a
the cafe where she's working, and be like, this dude is like creeping up on me,
like
not
Astoria. Like I mean,
and like she dresses up as Persephone and Hades steals her instead.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's
has to come save her.
There's so much like, oh yeah, no, I mean, and I feel like I would love to have like to work with comic book artists and I could totally see it.
It's so cool that that you could come out with a book too, and it wouldn't have to be a direct line. That it could be with different main characters, but we're still knowing about what's going on with her,
right?
And her story can still continue in it.
Yeah,
but it's a new myth that you're using,
right?
And I think I love really well. Ooh, I got to do myself chills.
I love like I am a one of the things that I read when I'm not reading YA is I'll read romance. And I love how in romance you'll have like you have like sister stories, like where you have like, you have a main character and their story, and then like their sister comes in and that's that story. And you'll have like 6 books in a series where you're looking at all the different
what is the series? The School for Unusual Girls, the Strange House series from Kathleen Baldwin. Those did that. Each book is about a different girl that's in the house.
Right.
So it all ties into the main story of them, trying to defeat Napoleon Bonaparte and all of that. But each story is on its own.
Different. And I love a book like that. Like, or, Codename Verity, the second book on that was like a different, anyway, I love those kinds of things because and Stephanie Garber did that with, the second book of the Caraval. But I love it when you get to see a different character's point of view.
Right.
Like I mean, I always love it when you're reading like you couldn't do this in Lifestyles because it's first person.
Right.
But I always love like when you're reading a book and you see it from one person's point of view and then you get a new person's point of view and they're talking about the same events and you're like, oh, this looks really different with this person. So yeah,
I didn't know Carvel did that. I haven't read all of those. I've only read the first one.
So the second one it's not like it has things from her sister's point of view. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's really
like buried over there somewhere.
It's like I mean I feel like it's like I'll get to a point with a series where I'm like, so do I read the series or do I just like
oh goodness,
like move along?
Because even like I love Sherilyn Kenyon's Dark Hunter series.
Yeah,
animal romance, and those are set like that each one is set in a different guy's point of view of the Dark Hunter.
Right.
And it's like technically you could start it anywhere in the series.
Right.
But you really kind of do have to read it one after the other because you wouldn't know who these other people are they're talking about.
So, well, Jessica, I should go and cook dinner for my people. Are
they like waving you down?
They're like, I promised them we could, this is my life. They were like, I was going to make red beans and rice or something. And they're like, can we please just have macaroni? And I was like, yes, it's fine. We're going to make macaroni and cheese.
They can't make themselves macaroni.
They're like, please, can we have macaroni? I'm like, fine. And so I can see them. They're like over being like,
Tell them
macaroni.
my 9-year-old makes her own macaroni. Okay.
So I had to cook a lot of times as a kid. Like my parents both worked a lot. And so I was our big cook as a kid.
Oh,
like
wow.
I can remember like browning hamburger at the eye level with the pan, like like I was 9 or 10. And so I just got in the habit of cooking.
Right.
And so you would think I would have done it right to where I was like, okay, now you're 10. You
Right.
can brown hamburger. But what's end up happening is I'm just like, oh God, everybody out of the kitchen. Like I'm just listening to a podcast.
That's what I do with dishes and stuff. It's like, no, you're not washing dishes. This person's washing dishes, and this person is only washing dishes because I want them done correctly.
Right.
You're not allowed near it. Go away.
Well, I feel like
your kids are going to burn
when
your house
you're
down.
cooking, nobody bothers you. So you can just be like I can listen to the thing and do and I've been doing it for so long.
Right. You just
that I've turned into that person like my grandma where somebody's like, well, how do you make that? I was like, oh, well, you take a little bit of that and a little bit of that. I'm like, when did I turn into my grandmother?
I said that about today because I'm sitting there crocheting and I'm working because I'm just putting in numbers and I'm like, oh no. Another lady working, like I've turned into my mom. You can tell my mom's doing right now. She's sitting in her chair watching TV, watching tutorials on YouTube, crocheting. She's made like these gigantic flowers and face masks and this little doll and all these different things. I never know what I'm coming home to. You're gonna be that person just covered in yarn. She's gonna like put it in the bodysuit.
So this is really funny. So I love to knit. I've just been a knitter forever. And when how some people when they have babies, they like get in the floor and play with the babies. I am not that person. Like I'm not that person. Like I'm not gonna be like, but I like having babies around. I just don't want to be like on the floor. So I found over the years that if you have a crawling baby and you're knitting, like if you have the yarn beside you, they're a little bit like cats. Like they'll play in it.
Right.
And then so we have these hilarious pictures of my youngest son, like when he was crawling to where he was backing up instead of going forward, where I look over and he's like completely
oh no.
He's got yarn like so I was like, oh, let's get you. Let's get a picture and then let's get you out of
it didn't happen.
He's like all just like, and he was having a ball. And I would always pick it up like if I wasn't in the room because you'd hate to have them like strangle themselves in yarn or something. Say it again.
Oh, try and eat it.
Try and eat it or anything. But yeah, I did a lot of knitting with babies.
Fun. All right, go make food for your family.
I'll see you later.
All right, bye. Thank you guys for watching.